All right, fam, let's dive right into it. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. It's great to be with everyone here today. I got the green light from David. He said, let's rock and roll. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I am Jason there on the left, and we are lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist here at BD, and so much more. David, thank you for taking the time to join us here in the webinar.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be back with you for webinar 160, slowly making our way to that 200 mark. We got a great tip of the week coming up showcasing a pretty cool update for a feature that I know a decent handful of us are using.
Yeah, I'm excited about the tip of the as well, and we'll be diving into that shortly. We are streaming on YouTube Live, so hello out there to anyone watching us on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, definitely recommend joining. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. You'll be directed to our YouTube channel, and you can click on that red subscribe button. It's a great way to get notified as soon as we post our webinar replays, tips of the week, feature tutorials, and more. And along with the benefit of streaming on YouTube Live is we can post the replay directly after the webinar into the Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, take a moment right now to join. You can go in your web browser to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and click on that blue join button. It's a great way to keep in touch in between Webinar Wednesdays. Lots of constructive questions and discussions are being asked in there. I'm in there myself along with other BD team members. So if you have questions about your site, and it could be strategy questions or how-to questions about the platform, all are welcome, and we hope to see you guys there. And we do see a good handful of new names and faces there, so welcome to all of you. If this is your first time joining us, just a little bit about Webinar Wednesday. As I mentioned, it's a great way to keep in touch, and week after week, we're pushing new updates into the platform. So it's a great opportunity for us to not only share with you some of those new features that are released, but how you can implement them and use them to help grow your community a bit quicker, more efficiently, and more. So we'll cover topics such as how to increase website traffic, converting visitors to members, identifying revenue opportunities, improving the website's navigation. The tip of the week, we'll touch on that just a bit. So if you have questions about your membership website on these topics or anything else, please say them. We'll get to as many questions as we can in just a little bit. And moving right along, one of my favorite parts of the webinars are the BD Lab updates. We have a nice handful of updates to share with you today. I'll breeze right through these, and I'll start right at the top there. The first two actually are related to the homepage. There at the top there, for the homepage, you can stream different types of content on your homepage. You can stream your recent members, your recent blog articles, and there are slots for custom content on the homepage using the text editor. Up until now, there was a limit of 1 through 5 custom content blocks that you can have on the homepage. We've increased that to 10 now, so you can have up to 10 custom content sections on your homepage. I think we're going to cut the limit there to 10. If you need more than that, you can go into the realm of HTML widgets. But let me show you where you can find this. This would be in your settings and design settings. And once you're here, you can go to the homepage tab. And this is it here, enable additional sections. So there are some pre-made ones, and you can have a custom content. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you'll see up to 10 here. What's nice about all the streaming sections is you can have a background color, so you can kind of create a contrast between the sections as the user is streaming down the page. And then also, if you're not aware of this, you can also control the top and bottom spacing within the section, which can create that nice negative space that looks good in modern design as well. Let's just quickly select one of these custom content sections if you're not familiar with it. You can select one, click on Edit Settings, and it will pop up a text editor that will be attributed to that specific custom content section. And of course, you can have the pre-made elements here as well. Also on the homepage, it has been highly requested for a long time, having an alternate and separate background image for mobile display. So up until now, you can choose a background image for your homepage. And it's nice, and it can work very well without having a separate one for mobile. But if you want a bit more granular control over that design on mobile devices, there is now a secondary image that you can add. And let me show you where that is and also how it works. So this is also in the design settings. We're going to stick in the homepage tab, and it's the hero background image. And we can see here now, I'll toggle this closed, but you have your main background image. We're all used to this. We've all probably changed this. Let's actually visit the site here. And we can see here, this is the image here. And if you'd like an alternate image to display when viewing the site on smaller screens, it's 767 pixels actually. You can choose to do so. Generally speaking, on mobile, it would be a square image or a tall rectangle rather than a horizontal rectangle. So you can then choose that. And let me just toggle. We've just selected a random image here for this example, but if we toggle the mobile view on this browser, we can see now a different image is being shown here, which is, I guess that's ceviche there. And if we remove this, and we'll save the changes, we'll see if we refresh it, it'll just be the individual background image, which again works perfectly fine in many, many use cases as well. Now that this update's pushed, we've done it for the home page. The second place we're going to do this as a phase 2 is in the web page builder for the static web pages. So you'll have mobile image control there as well. Next up, this is a more specific setting now available in the advanced settings. If you're using the text editor for your blogs and you're pasting content from maybe a Microsoft Word doc or a Google document, you'll notice that sometimes a lot of additional styles or other attributes are pasted in when you copy and paste. And that could be totally fine and the way that you want it. But if you want a more uniform look when you or your members are pasting in content for their posts, for their blog posts, or whatever, what have you, whatever it may be, you can now omit certain attributes. Attributes would be like the style tags, ID tags, data attribute tags. If you're not familiar with any of this, you don't need to worry about it. But just to show you who are aware of this, where that setting is, you may find it useful. If we go to advanced settings, and I'm actually going to search for remove attributes here. Oh, let me refresh the page here just a moment. There we go. All right. Remove attributes. There we go. So we have this field here, Froala, remove attributes when pasting text. And you want to create a comma-separated list. It seems that you need quotes around the items. So if you wanted to omit and remove the style and the ID tags, you would do it like this with the quotes around it. And you can do other things as well, ARIA labels, and so on. So this setting is now here. And again, you may want to utilize this if you would like a more uniform look if people are pasting content into their text editors. A class would be a good one too. And since we're on the subject, if you'd want a more uniform, I guess the best 3 to start with would be style, ID, and class. That would be almost equivalent to pasting in plain text. Okay, this next one is a fun one. If you're selling leads to your members, you're obviously generating revenue for the website, and you can see all those transactions in the main transaction history tab of your website. Now, if you're on the Manage Leads page, you will see a total as well. Here's a little screenshot of it. If you're looking at the managed leads, you'll see, how many accepted matches there were, how many total matches, and then you'll see a line for the total revenue. So if you want a quick indicator of how much a lead has generated for you, that value is now there and available for you as well. Next up, if you have had Google Analytics for the last year, there's no doubt that they've been alerting you several times per month to update to Google Analytics 4. Up until now, you could always add the Google Analytics 4 embed code into your Brilliant Directories website, but now in the general settings moving forward, you just need to copy your Google Analytics 4 ID number. If you've done the older method by copying and pasting the full embed code for Google Analytics 4, you don't need to follow the steps or or paste the ID in your general settings. However, if you're doing this for the first time, let me show you where you can add this now. This will be in your settings, general settings. And if you go to integrations, over here it says Google Analytics ID, and you'll see now our suggestion is the new Google Analytics 4 IDs start with the letter G and a hyphen and then a set of numbers. The older Universal Analytics starts with a UA hyphen. So if you have that in here, it means you're using an outdated version of Google Analytics, and come July 1st, tracking will stop working because Google is not supporting that product anymore. If you click on this Learn More button here, if you're unsure of a few things, we do have some good documentation here with an easy method. It talks about if you have not yet installed Google Analytics 4, we also provide instructions from Google on how to set up GA4. If you're still using Google Analytics 3, we have Google's instructions for migrating from Google Analytics 3 to Google Analytics 4. And if you've already manually added Google Analytics 4 code to your site, then really no further action is required and you don't need to follow the steps in this article. Otherwise, Google Analytics 4 will double track the traffic on your site if we put it in the general settings and you've also manually put the code somewhere on your site. Once you're here, there are some helpful instructions here, as well as these links to other help articles. Coming soon, coming down the line, we've been talking about this one and is just on the cusp of being released. Prorated support when members upgrade or downgrade their accounts. You can choose if you want to enable this on your site, because right now it doesn't exist. It's going to start in the disabled setting in our advanced settings, and if you want to turn it on for your site once it's released, you can turn it on for your site. It does work hand in hand with the member credits add-on. Here is a sample of an order summary that is actually calculating a prorated discount for an upgrade. We can see here that this person is receiving $99 back for a plan change. And then obviously there's credits that can be used or applied or saved to the member's account, and that is why it works with the credits system. So we're looking for that to be released, honestly, as soon as maybe the end of next week, and we'll be sure to announce it in the Facebook group. That's a pretty big one there. We're also on the cusp of releasing the newer workflow for newsletters. I think realistically this would be a mid-July release. This is a pretty big overhaul to the newsletter sending system. I have one small screenshot of what this is going to look like. In a nutshell, you're going to see better analytics for each send. So, and you'll be able to see the email addresses of who it was delivered to, who it was failed, opened, and clicked. And even better, you'll be able to create a smart list, a segmented list of the people who fall into any one of these categories. So you'll get not only better analytics and be able to segment lists, but the workflow for scheduling newsletters will be improved as well. One thing we're looking to do is allow you to schedule a newsletter to be sent at a future time in the future. So if you'd like a newsletter to be sent next week on Monday at 1 p.m., you can set that time and rest assured it will be sent at that time. Also related to smart lists separately, you can create smart lists and sync them with webhooks, and the webhooks will then get all the members who are in that smart list, all the data of those members in that smart list. It's a quick way if you want to send an entire list to like a MailChimp account or Constant Contact or another CRM that you have, put them in a smart list and use the webhook to send all the data to that third-party platform. Right now, you have to come back each time and manually send the smart list to with the webhook when you want to do it. What we're going to release are scheduled times to sync smart lists. I have a screenshot of what that will look like. So when you're creating a smart list, you can schedule the smart list to sync with the webhook daily, weekly, or monthly, or if you just quickly need to do it right now, you can do it now. This will allow you to keep lists on your other platforms updated as needed. And lastly here, actually a few of these have already been released related to billing better credit card workflows when members purchase additional products and leads. Recently, we released the ability to have coupon codes for one-time purchases such as leads, digital products, and so on. And we found a few ways to improve the workflow. For example, if someone doesn't have a credit card on file, and they're going to purchase a digital product, and they use a coupon code that makes that digital product go from $100 to $0, it's not going to ask them to input a credit card, because at that point, effectively, that purchase is technically free. The way it was working was reversed. If a card wasn't on file first, it would ask them to put a card on file and then show them the order summary. So those should all be released well, we're already going into July. So early July, a lot of those billing updates should be released, and they will apply to all BD websites. In addition to that, as always, tons of speed, security, and quality of life features. As always, thank you guys for your suggestions, your support tickets, your Facebook posts. Everything helps make the platform better for everyone. So it's really a crowdsourced event, all these updates that are being added to the platform. Before we move into the tip of the week, feel free to raise your hand. I put everyone's hands down right now. Raise your hand if you have any questions or comments or feedback about the new features or what's coming soon. We can take one or two. Here, we got Scott has got his hand up. All right, Scott. Looks like you're self-muted there, Scott.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep. How you doing there?
Awesome. Good. Hey, really quick question. For the email workflow, love the more stats and everything, but do you ever envision a time where we will be able to create a newsletter directly from a smart list instead of having to go and create a template and then go to the newsletter and then create the newsletter there and choose the template?
Yes. So when you're scheduling the newsletter, the ultimate goal is to do what you're saying is it says create a newsletter, and then it'll ask you if you want to start from a template or start from scratch. But you'll be able to work on the newsletter during the workflow, not just in the email template section, I think is what you're asking, right?
Well, no, because I know how to do both of those, but when you start from scratch, you can only enter, I think, 5 email addresses, and you can't enter a smart list in the who you want to send it to.
Oh, when you're composing a single email to somebody.
Yeah.
I think
in other words, rather than creating a whole new template for an email newsletter and then going back and then scheduling the newsletter and choosing the template and choosing the smart list, it would be great to be able to just compose an email and have my smart lists be choosable as the recipient.
I see. That's interesting. Actually, I never thought about that. I always thought as newsletters as something that you're going to send to bulk members. But if you're going to compose email here as an example, and then as recipients here, putting the smart list here, is that
Yes.
and selecting the template? Oh, well, yeah.
Because sometimes we may only have a group of like a certain level of members that we want to just send a really quick, hey, really quick, here's an update, boom, 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 and only send it to, level 1 or level 2 or level 3.
Gotcha. Even currently with newsletters, so you sound familiar with it, you can send to smart lists. So like you can send it here and then choose the template in that same pop-up. Is that not?
No, that's just the extra step of I have to go and create the template first, and then I have to come back here, and then I have to choose the news, do this whole thing.
Gotcha. Okay. I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think as it evolves, that feedback is going to be helpful, and we'll keep it in mind as we move forward with it. Thank you, Scott.
Awesome.
Glad to hear you're using the newsletter functionality. Looking forward to making it better for you. And we got Rich here. Let me unmute your mic, Rich. There we go.
Hey, Jason. How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Cool. Just 2 questions on the new features, the editor and the Google Analytics. But on the editor, we coach a lot of our members in their onboarding to copy and paste in the About Me section, like from their website or LinkedIn profile. So if we made these changes in here, would it automatically take the copy and paste that's in different fonts and all that configuration and format it correctly in their About Me section, or?
To my knowledge, it's during when the pasting is happening. So if they retroactively, I don't think it will remove the style tags or the tags the attribute tags. So I don't think you can test it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it won't retroactively remove the attributes.
But moving forward, maybe I'm misunderstanding that feature of the editor, but is there a way we can set up when like a brand new person tomorrow would copy and paste in the About Me? Can it be automatically formatted in a more user-friendly, font, or is that not part of that feature? Or
so it would remove any excessive attributes that are being pasted. It wouldn't add anything. The benefit of removing it, the one benefit is that it keeps all the styles uniform based on your website design settings, and it doesn't allow someone to, for example, paste a style tag that uses Times New Roman font in their about section because they're copying that from Word or something.
Right. Yeah, because it's helpful. They've already created their content on their website or what have you, but it's in a whole different font. So we'd have to determine we'd have to isolate what those fonts are and then add them in the removal feature.
No, you wouldn't choose the specific font. You would just not allow the style tags altogether, which would eliminate fonts, different font sizes, different font colors. Because if someone pastes a font that does not contrast, maybe you have a dark website, right? And their font is black and it says black in the Word doc, then there's no contrast for that font. It's going to appear like it's invisible, just as a quick example. So it's a better way for you to control the uniform look, even if users are pasting content into the text editor.
But if they paste it, because that's an example where they have a dark background, would it eliminate that dark background and then create it in a more user-friendly font, or wouldn't allow it?
It would just use the font that's of the website. It would remove any custom fonts that are being pasted in from the that's paste.
That's awesome. And the last question was Google Analytics. We installed that kind of from day one, but I don't know if this is a dumb question, but could you give a couple, like 1 or 2 or 3 quick maybe use case scenarios of how? Because we've never really kind of gone in and looked at our Google Analytics, but what's the most useful application in terms of the directory, helpful extraction from Google Analytics?
Sure. Well, looking at your audience is helpful. You want to see maybe how many. Daily's tough because it's just such a small sample size. But when you have a good amount of data, you can look at your site week by week, and you can see how many unique visitors. You can see if your visitors are coming from Google searches or from direct traffic from another source. Maybe there's another website that's linking heavily to you, and you can identify that website. Another thing you can do is you can see the most popular pages of your website. So everyone's most popular page is going to be their home page. But what's really helpful is seeing what page 2, 3, and 4 are. And if you have a certain workflow or navigation map that you want to direct people to, like your sign up page or your search results page, but for some reason everyone is going to your contact us page, which is cool, but not correct. Maybe there's a imbalanced design on your site where the links are not in the right places for people and they're just clicking in the wrong place.
So it gives you that. And so last point on that, would it tell you like how long they've been on the site or on certain pages or?
Yeah. So, it lets you know how long they spend on a certain web page. Now, unless they're reading an article, then they wouldn't spend more than a minute on a page. If you're on a home page, you're going to quickly digest the information and then figure out where you're going to go next. It also lets you know if people are leaving your site from a certain web page. So if you notice many people are going to your home page and then leaving your site, perhaps you need better calls to action on your home page. Either it's unclear or it's confusing what the user should do next, and those are ways to improve the navigation is using that data.
Okay, cool. Yeah, these are great features, and again, thanks. And that concludes my line of questioning. No worries. But again, just the pasting in a nutshell. If you want to ensure that you have a more uniform look for the post descriptions, then you might want to do the style, class, and ID attributes. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to explore that because right now we kind of have to manually look at everybody's about me and figure out and kind of reformat it so it's more user friendly. So anything we can automate, that's spectacular. Gotcha. Yeah, that should definitely help with that. Thank you, Rich. Cool. Thanks again. Cheers. All right. No more hands up. Good questions there. And with that, we'll move on to the tip of the week. David and I were chatting. We've actually been trying to launch this one for several weeks, and we did find some bugs in it that we have now resolved, it's always good to stress test these things. But David, I'll pass it over to you. We could talk a little bit about the dynamic category filtering add-on and how you can use it on your site.
Yeah, so the dynamic category filtering add-on, it's been around for a while. It's used on a lot of websites, but there was a recent update which kind of brought it back to light and made us want to highlight that recent update a little bit more. It expands the functionality a bit. So first, we'll go over what the dynamic category filtering add-on actually is. So it's a different search module for members, specifically member categories, that you can place in the sidebar, say on your member search results page. So users of the website will be able to check off multiple member categories that they want to filter through, rather than like using the default sidebar search module, where if they're going to select a category, they only select one category at a time from a drop-down list. So the recent update with this was the addition of the location search field. So instead of only being able to select multiple categories to search members through, users can now also add a location to their search. Overall, this does create a little bit more of an interactive search experience, allowing users to dynamically filter and check off specific categories that they want to see members within, rather than using the default sidebar search module, where if they're going to be selecting a member category, they only select one category at a time from a drop-down list. It also allows users to better set their search criteria and more finely tune the search that they're conducting on their website. And again, with the recent update, they can also now enter a location as well. So if they only want to see specific members meeting certain criteria in a certain location, they can now do that through the search module, the dynamic category filtering search module. And last thing, it is a pretty plug and play search module. There's not really too much to configure, but there is one setting, the match setting. So you can choose to use a broad match or a strict match. So this determines what results are displayed to the user when they're conducting their search. So the broad match setting, which is the default setting, that will result in a larger search result pool. If a user selects multiple member categories, say they're searching for auto repair shops, and they select the brake inspection category and the dent repair category, then with the broad match setting, they'll be presented with members who are listed in any of the categories that they selected. So they'll see members who do brake inspections or do dent repair. If you use the strict match setting, they'll only see members who match exactly the criteria that they select. So if they select to see members who do brake inspection and dent repair, with the strict match, they'll only see members who do both brake inspection and dent repair. Just to give an example, kind of better visualize how this would work, it's pretty similar to the search filter that you would find on websites like Amazon and Yelp. On Amazon, when you search for a product on there, on the left-hand sidebar, there'll always be some sort of filtering option. So in this example, I think we were searching for power drills. And so there were some options if we, depending on the drill's material, the power source, things like that. So in both Amazon and Yelp, they kind of follow that more strict match setting. So if you're searching for a power drill and you choose the material metal and the power source battery, Amazon will only show you products that are made of metal and that are battery powered. They're not going to show you power drills that only meet one of those criteria. And the same thing with Yelp. If you select the cheapest price option and you're looking for a Mexican restaurant, they'll only show you the cheapest Mexican restaurants. They're not going to show you all of the cheapest restaurants and all of the Mexican restaurants. So both of those examples kind of follow that more strict match setting. And so in the middle, we have the sidebar search module, the member search module for the dynamic category filtering add-on. You can choose if you want to have that location field at the top or not. That was the recent update that went along with this. And then below is where the user would be able to select which categories they want to see members for. So in this example, the price, I think these were all subcategories, price, amenities, and cuisine. The price subcategory has been collapsed or minimized, but amenities and cuisine are expanded so we can see the subcategories within those. So somebody could be searching for a restaurant in a certain location and they can narrow it down by cuisine. And if they're going to be going with their kids, maybe they only want to see restaurants in that location that serve that cuisine. that have specifically stated that it's a good environment to bring kids. So it allows for more specific filtering rather than just utilizing the default member search module in the sidebar.
Also with this, and David, we actually didn't talk about this, but if you're going to be utilizing this type of search on the sidebar of the member search results page, actually limiting the subcategories your members can select will guide them and create better context for them to really select the categories that they belong in and want to be found in. And obviously we can give members limit, like you can only select 10 subcategories or whatever makes sense for your industry and your website. But this puts better context and value on the subcategories that the members are choosing to be listed in, because we can actually see in the sidebar what the options are there.
We just wanted to show the different variations that are available with the dynamic category filtering sidebar search module. So you can choose if you only want to allow users to select multiple top level categories, top categories and subcategories, top categories, subcategories, and subcategories. Or if maybe your website, you're only using one kind of catch-all general umbrella top level category, there would be no real purpose to require a user to select that when they're conducting their search if all the members are going to be in that top category anyway. So in that case, you might only want to allow users to select sub-level categories and sub-level categories to search within. And then with the recent update, there's now options or variations of this search module that include that location field. And so here are the use cases. There definitely are specific use cases where this would certainly be helpful and valuable to use, but there are others where it might actually not be worth it to use. Typically, in most cases, you may want to use the dynamic category filtering search module in the sidebar of the member search results page if the overall experience for users when they're searching for members on your site is relatively simple. So if you have a pretty limited member category structure, you don't have that many categories to display, because we don't want to have a whole long list of categories taking up the entire height of the sidebar. That might be a little overwhelming when visitors come to that page and they're trying to figure out exactly what they want to select, what criteria to select to filter through the members. And the real purpose of this would be if you want to allow your visitors to be able to search multiple member categories at once. So like in that example we showed, and we'll show you a demo kind of in practice of how this would work as well. But like if you have local businesses, restaurants, say for example, and you want to allow your users to kind of have more of that like Yelp type search experience where they can select different criteria and filters to really narrow down their search, that's when the dynamic category filtering search would really come in handy. When you may not want to use it is if you do have more of a complex member search experience. So if you're going to be wanting to have users enter in a keyword, select top categories, subcategories, also locations, at that point you may be better off using just one of the default search modules in the sidebar of the member search results page. Also, like I mentioned, if you've got dozens and dozens or maybe hundreds of member categories, in that case, if it's not necessary for users to select multiple categories at once to search within, again, you might be better off just using one of the default search modules where instead of presenting all the categories in a long checkbox list, it's more of a drop-down selection that they can just pick from. Then you might want to use it in that case. And then also, if you're just not utilizing the member search results page at all on your website, maybe you're using the website kind of more as a corporate site or a website just to publish content on, then in that case, you wouldn't have a need for the dynamic category filtering add-on because again, it's only for searching members.
Also in that last note, if you are just searching members by their name, it's a directory lookup based on name, then you don't really need the category filtering there either. So those are some good examples there of when to use it and maybe when you don't want to use it. And I think with that said, we do have a site set up which kind of demos how this works. And I guess, David, now would be a good time to kind of dive into this here.
Yeah, definitely. This should be kind of one of the more common use cases for utilizing this search module.
Perfect. Yep. And in this case, actually, we're just have very simple category structure set up. But in this example, it's built kind of for like a localized business directory, like a Yellow Pages. But we're just focusing on 2 different categories here. And where we'll start is, let's go to the dashboard area. Let's first show you guys how we've set up our mini example of our categories. So we'll go to My Members and go to Member Categories. And in this case, we just have 2 top-level categories, but of course you could have more for the broader industries that a business might be a part of. We have restaurants and auto services. From here, we have sub-level categories. And I'm going to go ahead and filter the parent category so we can see what we have for restaurants. So for restaurants, we have a meal served, type of cuisine, and the type of amenities they have. For auto services, we have the vehicle make, type of repairs, and type of detailing services they may offer. And when we move to the sub-level categories, this is where it gets more granular. And let's go to cuisine, for example. Cuisine was a subcategory of restaurant. So here now we have our different cuisines, which is barbecue, Italian, vegetarian. Amenities, the restaurant amenities. Amenities was a sub-level category of restaurants, and it has sub-level categories: good for kids, outdoor seating, reservations. Wi-Fi would be another one as an example. And if we look at the auto repair, so under repairs, we had automotive as the top level category, repairs a sub-level category, and the type of repairs: general repairs, diagnosis and inspection, maintenance, and it can be more. So you can see how we've kind of set this up: broader categories, auto services, restaurants, sub-level categories, and it's meant to be that the sub-levels are nested nicely under the sub-level categories. So when we go to the website, we are on the home page, and we've actually done a couple things. We have basically just the broad categories here: auto services and restaurants. We also have it here as the search module here. If you want to just search auto services or restaurants, you could have more filtering here if you want. But let's go ahead and click on restaurants. And we can see here we're using the dynamic category filtering here in the sidebar. Now, if this was a website of, for example, of a very small region like Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I click on restaurants, really there may not be a reason to add the location search in addition to this, because we already know that we're searching, for example, Chattanooga, Tennessee. But if your website has a focus in multiple cities and states, it would make sense to have the location search, the search field there, and we'll add it there in just a moment. So we can see here we have just 3 sample restaurants here: barbecue restaurant, cafe, and an Italian restaurant. So if we select an option here such as outdoor seating, we can see here all 3 of these still have the outdoor seating. And we have strict search turned on for this, so the results are going to have to meet all the criteria. Now let's switch to Italian here, and we can see now there is only 1 result. And if we search to, now if we also select barbecue, we do not have any results. But if we now remove Italian with outdoor seating, we have the other result: Bloodsoe's Barbecue. Now if we go back to the home page, you can see how that works. Pretty self-explanatory. We'll actually use the search here. Let's do auto services and search that from the home page. You can see here we're presented with the subcategories and their sub-subcategories here. We're not repeating the top level category on this page. That was a choice. Let me go back here. As David mentioned here, the category filtering options in this example, we're using the sub-level category and the sub-level category just to create a more specific search experience. What we could do alternately is have a list of all our categories on another page, and it brings you to the specific search page of that top level category. But again, we are seeing the sub-level and their respective sub-level categories here. So the same logic would work here. So let's say we are just looking for Audis, and it looks like all 3 of these automotive auto repair shops do that. Let's look at paint protection. Only Lucy's Auto Center offers paint protection and Audi. Now let's change that strict match to a broad match and see what happens as we select some options here. So let's go to
I believe it might be an advanced setting if you search dynamic category filter.
It is an
in the
advanced
settings.
setting. You are correct. Thank you. Dynamic category filtering, turning on broad match or not. Also here, so while we're here, dynamic category, have the accordions toggled opened or closed. Let's actually close them in this case so we can see both. Thank you for that, David. So let's go back to the site here and refresh the page. There we go. So now it's anyone who does Audi and paint protection. If we get rid of and we can see now these are toggled open or closed. They should start toggled closed, but if we remove Audi now, let's see here, this one has something selected, so it remains open. Only Lucy's Auto Center does paint protection, but if we want someone who does Cadillacs as well, J&E also does it, and let's remove paint protection. And Lucy's and J&E do Cadillac, and let's also do Audi. And all three of them do Audi and Cadillac. Thank you. So just so you guys know, yeah, go to your advanced settings. There's two settings around this dynamic category, so you can search that. So this is an add-on by BD. If you have the VIP add-ons club, you have it. And if you want to add this to your sidebar, let me show you how you can do that. We can go to the admin area. I'll start from the dashboard. And how you can choose the search module used on member search results pages is pretty simple. If you go to My Content and Edit Post Settings, we want to search for the member listing one. I'll search for listing, member listing right there. And if we go to Search Results Design and Additional Settings, it's a little granular here, but if we scroll down, it says Sidebar Search Module to use. And you can see what we've selected is the sub plus sub level category filtering, the dynamic category filter that is sub and sub level category. And if you want to use just regular search modules, there's keyword only, keyword and location, top level category, so on and so forth. You can even show, coupon searches on the member results page if you wanted to, but you'll see here if you scroll down the Bootstrap theme dynamic category filtering options here. And each one has a corresponding one with location. So now let's look at the sub and sub level with location. We'll change that and swap it out, save the changes. And we should see a location search field here now. And there it is there. So it looks pretty nice there. It looks nice. But you can see if you have too many categories, this may become too cumbersome for users. It just depends. I've seen sites with long, airline booking sites and things like that have kind of long sidebars there.
The solution for that, if it is necessary for users to select multiple categories at once, you could always choose to enable that advanced setting so that these categories start collapsed by default.
Very good point. And they will remain open if they have something selected in them. Otherwise, they will, if you have that setting turned off, then they will start closed as opposed to opened. So actually, that's a very good point there. So let's see here. Let's search for Austin, Texas. We do a search. So J&E is there. And if we want to do paint protection, which they don't offer, we can see here, we listed their subcategories. And we have to hit search now. We see that it is not there. Let's remove the location. We see Lucy has that there. And let's do Audi. And let's search. And let's do Audi. We see all three of them in Austin, Los Angeles. You see a map here of them all. And let's actually just search Los Angeles now. And we just have two people who offer Audi auto services in Los Angeles here. And this is with the example of having the search by location. When you have the search by location, you're going to want to click on the search now button because it wants to make sure that you're done inputting the location that you want to search, as well as the options that you want to select here. I think that pretty much covers it. David, did we leave anything out here?
I think that's it. Again, the main use case for this would be if your users need to be selecting multiple member categories to search through at one time.
That's right. So what we can do right now, guys, is we can move on to the questions and answers. David, thank you for putting together those slide and that demo site. Super helpful. Let's see some hands up. If you guys have questions about anything we covered today, any help you need on your site, we'll do our best to assist you. Do see some hands going up right now. I see Terry's hand. Let me unmute you, Terry.
Hi, Jason. How's that?
Fantastic. Good to hear from you. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Just a quick question. On the member profile page where you have the location map displayed, is it possible to have that default to Street View?
Default, I believe with a customization, it can. We removed it on the demo site just for a moment. I believe with a customization, you can modify that map to include other things, even satellite view, street view, and more. Let's get a map. Let me get you a map here so we can look at it together. Okay, so yeah, what we've done by default is kept the options here very limited. You can customize this widget. There are a lot of settings with Google Maps, 3D view, map view, satellite view, terrain view. Our objective was just to keep it neat and clean for the majority of site owners, but you do have access to this widget, and if you want to toggle things on or off, I believe it would be very easy with a customization to get it looking the way that you want to look, Terry. So in a nutshell, yes, you can do it, but there are no settings for it. So you'd have to dive a bit into this widget here. And I think it's just a matter of selecting true or false for some of the map attributes that Google offers. All right. Sorry, we're getting some background noise there, Terry, so I muted you. Let's move on. We got Stephen here. Let me unmute your microphone, Stephen.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah,
no problem.
So regarding the dynamic filtering and the location, well, the first question is there anything we need to do, like to turn it on, whatever enhancements you just made, or is it automatic?
That's automatic. All you would need to do is come to your edit post settings when you have the add-on, and it'll be available as one of the sidebar search module options. And again, this is in the search results design tab, additional settings, and then that setting here.
Okay. And the other question I have is regarding using it with locations. For example, let's just say that, I don't know, I'm searching for supermarkets, let's say, and in Los Angeles. So is the way it works, this is a question, but the way it works is I'm first going to search by location. So all of the supermarkets in Los Angeles, and so that will be on the screen. And then if it's the broad search approach, then I'm searching the different categories for all of them in Los Angeles. Is that correct? Is that how it's sort of conceptualized? What was the actual change? I mean, how did it interface previously, and what has changed? What's different now?
Let me show you exactly what's changed. A couple things were fixed. One is now you have the option to include the location as part of it. So that didn't exist and it wasn't supported. Also, what didn't exist, there was the bug with it was if you selected a sub-level category here, these are only subs and sub-subs for restaurants, right? Amenities, cuisine, meals served. If we clicked on one, it was then also showing the sub and sub-sub for all the other top-level categories as well. So it kind of didn't create a good experience. And that was, as I mentioned, the patch that was fixed most recently, so that you can have these dedicated sidebar searches based on the top-level category that you're within.
Okay.
Are you?
And one last.
Sure.
One last question. Is there a general school of thought as to whether it's better to use the broad approach versus the strict approach? Because, you know, when I'm on Amazon.com, for example, yes, the strict approach and I drill down. But for the but some people want to have an additive approach. Is there sort of a general school of thought, or is it just really based on your site?
It's based on the site. I'd say, do you want us to take a look at your site? You want my personal opinion, what I would think on your site?
Mine's a little more complicated because you have to first log in.
Gotcha.
I guess it's not necessary, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what industry are you? What are people searching? If you want to share that,
they're searching for internships.
Internships.
Yeah, like placement sites.
Yeah, I could see how the broad approach would be good in there because you kind of want to see the maximum pool. But I also see how the strict. My default would be moved to strict because people are used to like filtering down rather than opening up and seeing all the results. So.
Okay.
In my personal opinion, I'd go with strict search in that case. I think it'll help people find what they're looking for quicker.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Glad to hear you're using it, and good questions there, Stephen. Thank you. We got our good friend Brian here. Brian, how you doing today?
Pretty good, and you?
Pretty good. What's your question for us today?
I had like I just wanted to get your opinion on something.
Sure.
It has to do with the tip of the week.
Okay.
So on my main homepage, I don't know, it's barandclub.com.
Okay, let's check it out together. I got that saved there. Okay.
So on here, I just have it searching by location, right? But then when you go to the location, you can just click on search.
Oh, just click on search. Okay.
Yeah, and then so I switched this over to this because I had like so many categories, right? And it was just taking up. But do you recommend I leave it like this or like?
Part of it is aesthetics. If it kind of feels good, I actually got excited to come to your site here, click on a location like Las Vegas, and then if the dynamic filtering was there, then I can choose kind of like what I want, like a comedy club, or I guess is this to find venues, like things to do, or whatever it is. Transportation. I think the dynamic category filtering might be great for this, but let's see what you have for sub level categories. You know, all this comes down to, I know a little bit of I said is subjective and what you think looks and feels good, but going back to Google Analytics, what you want to do is see what improves your bounce rate, what improves the number of pages viewed on your site within a certain month. So we might think of it, might think one thing is good, but that's where A/B testing comes in. You can just do it differently for a month and then compare it to the previous month's traffic and see. Definitely the dynamic category filtering makes people want to click more because there's checkboxes there and it's always fun to click on checkboxes. You might see that more page views, less bounce rate. And actually, if you have a Google Analytics account, they are secretly using that in their algorithm to know if your website is useful to people or not. And then that helps improve your search engine ranking positions. So the short answer, you might want to just test it out for a month. I really love that you took advantage of the quick links here and you put some popular cities here because it's just, again, people like easy things to click on, and you've put these quick links here. So yeah, the next thing might just be the dynamic category filtering.
Yeah, I had it on there, but so like my site is geared towards like, so say a bar is looking for a promoter, right? They'll go here, they'll find a promoter, or if they want a DJ to play, they'll go here to find a DJ, right?
So is it more B2B in that sense as opposed to the consumer coming for places to go party? Or is
it is the B2B, but it's also A to B because if say like you want to go out and drink, right? You're gonna come here and you're gonna find a nightlife location.
Right.
So and then when I have that nightlife location show up, then that's where I have a lot of my categories. Like I have the Asian fusion places, I have bars, I have nightclubs, I have like, all kinds of different categories.
I'm seeing not a lot have subcategories. I'm clicking.
Yeah, none of those under the nightlife locations have sub. Maybe I should try to switch that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, I haven't done any that have triggered a sub. You might want to switch to the dynamic. And then also, I know your site's more established, but you may want to figure out some kind of logical path to have two different parts of your site, one for the consumer facing and one for the B2B nightclub. Because someone who's looking for, nightclubs to get bottle service in Miami don't really need to know the video. I mean, the music band, like hiring a music band. But I don't know if it's working for you. It's working for you. But those could be two different directories that you manage, or two different parts within the same website that you manage.
Yeah, I've been slowly working on that situation.
Okay.
But
yeah, I mean, overall the site look good. The homepage is good. You might want to try the dynamic category filtering and see how the analytics look after a month or so.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Always good to hear from you, Brian. Go.
We do have Carolyn who typed in a message also going with the dynamic category filtering search module. She just wanted to make sure that the location field would be compatible with service areas from the Multi-Locaiton Listings add-on.
Yes, it is. So any member location search by default takes into account the additional service areas members want to be found in as well. Side note, we've done a lot of updates around the service areas logic, so the results are actually more accurate and better for those members who have selected service areas, as well as listing the name of the service area a member was found because they have that match of the location search. So in a short answer, Carolyn, yes, it does take into account the service areas the members have selected. All right, moving on, we got Rich, you got your hand up here again, I think. How you doing?
Great. Yeah, just a follow up on a previous member that was asking about locations. I don't know if you can take a look at my site real quick because I'm a little confused on the search, the topic for today. That's podcastersdirectory.com.
Yeah.
And then,
here we go. Yep.
And so from the user experience, like you can just click the search bar or the red search all up top there. Just click that, and then it'll populate.
Oh, this looks great.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. But what I'm trying to do is that the guy was calling about earlier is say I want to search guests, but by location at the same time, and it seems like it only does one or the other. So like if you do the drop down for show guests and just pick a random category, so it's going to pull up everybody in that category, right? So there's 5 members. But now what if you search by California or something like that?
This was the fix that we did. When this is a separate search module on the sidebar, so it's not connected to this one. So the update. So how do we? Yeah. So can I do it for you?
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah.
All right. Give me a second here. Let's put that there. Just a moment. This was the change here. So just one quick moment here. Okay, great. So let's go to your, my content, edit post settings. And it's so great to hear that a lot of people are using this one because, again, it is a little clicky. People want to click on it. So they're definitely good there. So let's look for the My Listings here and click on Edit. That's your search results page, right? Yep.
Okay.
All right, and search results design, additional settings, and okay, so yeah, you've manually added it in there. Let me switch this out for the dynamic, and you're doing the dynamic with the sub and the sub-sub, so the whole enchilada here.
Okay.
And I'll save that, and then I have to go to your sidebar, and you've manually added this in your sidebar, so I'm just going to remove this from the sidebar here. So
yeah, because
go ahead.
Or go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say because from the get-go we were just focusing on, not by location necessarily, but now we're, traveling and we want to host events in those cities and connect with those members, allow them to do kind of the same. So this will be a cool feature to make it more user-friendly with this update.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see here. So there we go. So now we have the location here and the category filtering. So here it saved our previous search, right? We were looking for, let's do that and hit search. It's going to search for arts. And then let's search for, where's this gentleman located? Do we know?
Not offhand, but
let's click and see if we can get a location on one of these guys. Or they might not, they're just nationwide maybe.
Yeah, we generally don't display their location at this point, but
so who would have what would be an example of a location search here?
Try to do the business category and try Atlanta, because I know we have people in there. So uncheck that one, I guess, whatever, and then go to out of arts
business
and pick business, and just pick general or a couple of them.
Okay.
Yeah, business general. There's under B for business general.
Oh, I see.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
All right,
and then a couple of those, and maybe do real estate while you're there, maybe, because I know, but that should be enough. Yeah, that guy's from Atlanta. So if you type in Atlanta now for the location, or Georgia, even Georgia would be better. Yeah. So it went from what I think 39 or something. Yeah, down to 10.
Down to 10. That's great. Okay.
Nice.
So there you go. Yeah, it looks a little nice there too. Do you want to see what it looks like with it toggled open to start?
Yeah.
Let's see.
But I think there's too many
right
listings. But let's take a look at it. Yeah.
Right. That's where it would make sense to kind of do what we did on our demo site, which is kind of just link people to the top level categories directly.
Okay.
Let's see. So search for, just to show people we could switch it back here. And do you want it as broad match or strict match? The strict match would be
Whatever.
as they keep clicking, it will filter smaller and smaller the results. Broad match will just open up more
I think the
results.
strict is a good way to go, or whatever you think is best.
See, in your case, I think broad match would make sense because people are looking for a wide variety. No one, because your categories are, so broad. You might want to do broad, but let's just see what it looks like with the strict match here and with the accordions open. And we'll just refresh this page here with the Atlanta search. Yeah, it might be too much with the. Yeah, that's a lot. So we'll keep it. Yeah. We'll keep it closed here. All right, no worries. You could play around with it, but yeah, since you have so many, actually, the strict match might be better. So people, because you have so many categories there, but you could play around with that there. Just come to the advanced settings and type in dynamic, and you have these two settings here. Okay.
So what is it set at now?
So now it's closed, and it has the location search. And again, you might want to play around with it again the way we had it on the demo site, where you kind of guide people towards selecting one of the top level categories. And then in the sidebar, you just have the subs and sub-subs for that top level category. You could create a tag cloud so people can toggle between your top level categories. But once they're there, they'll just see the subs and sub-subs in the sidebar. So just some options for you to think about.
Yeah, that update's great. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Site's looking good.
A simple question that Don wrote in. He wanted to know how to move all members from one category to another.
Great question as well. So I think right now in the My Members page, you can change people's top level category. So if they're in a broad top level category like restaurants, you want to switch them to auto services for whatever reason. You would search your top level category like auto services. So we'll search, we have 3 members in auto services. Oh, let me get rid of the sub, let's see here. What's happened here? Something's gone awry, just a moment. There we go. Okay, so top level category, auto services. What we would do is select all these members. And then what we want to do is update top level category. And we'll click apply. And we would choose the top level category we want to move them to. In this case, it would be restaurants. There's a little workaround if you want to do sub-level categories, but not exactly. If you go to member categories, and we'll go to sub-level categories as an example. If you want to delete this category, let me just click it. So we want to delete the Audi sub-level category. It does ask you if you want to assign the existing members to another sub-level category. Yes or no, and then you can choose where you want to move them to, and then you can go ahead and either add back Audi if you need to, or just keep it deleted. So those are a couple ways you can move members around between categories. Anything else from Don, or does that cover it?
I think that covered it.
Okay, good questions there. Thank you, Don. And we got our friend Kathy. We see your hand up there. Let me unmute you. Looks like you're self-muted.
What's up?
Hey, good to have you here.
Okay, so I'm back in the directory world. We just launched our directory. It's going public, all the good fun stuff. It does not have locations. It is a software. Basically, you'll see, all kinds of crazy stuff in there. I turned all the locations off. So I want to make sure that I'm good. We are searching by software or services. So they could be worldwide, local-wide, whatever. So we've got freelancers, things like that. I just need to make sure that I'm good and it's still going to be searchable without location.
Let's take a look.
I'm sure it's sasprotools.com.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to see all my affiliate stuff in there and all kinds of fun stuff.
Okay,
this will be good. A little bit bragging on what's about to happen with me and
congratulations. Yeah. Now let's take a look at your site first. So I understand we're just searching software by category, not location.
That's correct.
Okay, so let me actually do something real quick. Let's go to your search members and a couple things. Now, are you having them enter their locations at all, or have you removed that?
No, I removed all of it.
Okay.
So there's no locations. It's just phone number, email.
Okay. Yeah. Search by keyword. Yeah, you should be good. Where would you like me to go on your site to kind of check it out? So far, it looks good.
Well, I feel like I got everything covered, but on the back end, Google's like, it's like saying, hey, what about this location? Or I'm getting errors, but there's nothing showing here. So I did all the I did all the
Okay.
sidebars and all that stuff.
I understand. So what you can
You know what
do.
I'm talking about? I just want to make sure. I did submit the
Yeah.
sitemap yesterday.
Okay, so one additional thing you can do. This is actually a good topic you brought up. If you go to My Content, go to SEO templates,
Mm-hmm.
and what we want to do is go to all the location-based SEO templates. So you'll see they have like country, state, or city. What you want to do is quickly open up all of these.
Mm-hmm.
Country, 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 country. There's like about 20 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And come here and go to page options and do the no index, no follow. Because you
I
don't,
know something.
right. So what it's going to tell Google is all these location-based search results pages, don't bother indexing them, because anyways, you don't have anyone in locations. So the SEO templates for those are kind of benign. So just come and set them to go to page options, apply no index, no follow. Now, also when you do that, if you're going to create your sitemap, because these are set as no index, no follow, it will also update your sitemap accordingly to be no index, no follow as well.
The whole sitemap, or just these?
These pages in the sitemap will be no index, no follow. So it's kind of preemptively also letting Google know, like, hey, bud, don't worry about these pages.
Okay, so go ahead and just mark all these pages, and then just refresh my sitemap and resubmit it is really probably what I need to do, because I think I submitted the whole sitemap.
Yeah, that would be my first step. And again, just the ones that have country, state, or city in them.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Is there any that zip code, or?
There's no zip.
I see. It just said, okay,
just
got it.
City, state, or country one.
And then this was the only other thing that you can think of that I could be missing?
From an SEO perspective, yeah, because your categories are going to rank for the SaaS categories. The members profile listings are going to rank. There's internal linking happening on the site. So I think you should be good. The only other thing that you could do that Capterra does, as an example, let me share an article with you. Especially if you're SaaS, like you have really good categories. I'm going to share this article with you, and it is adding custom content and SEO value to your search results pages. So it's a video here. It basically shows you how to add, like, so if you're going to talk about, I don't know, membership software or whatever, it might be CRM software solutions, how to add a blurb of custom content to that search results page, and just make it a little more SEO friendly and create a better user experience. And you can add like more internal linking, quick links like we saw on the Bar and Club site. They did it on their homepage. You can do it on your search results pages just to get even more granular. I'm going to put this in the chat here.
Okay, let me make sure I have my chat.
Okay. And then just give it some time. Monitor your Google Analytics, make sure that it's passing the friends and family test. Give the site to your friends and family. What I used to do is I
just gave it to about 40,000 communities. So yeah, we're all excited. Everybody's loving it. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, congratulations on that. And then the Facebook group is there for you too, Kathy. If you need, cut you off there, Kathy. Apologize, but we are out of time, guys. Amazing webinar. Thank you guys so much. Great tip of the week, David. Big shout out to you. Great update on the dynamic category filtering add-on. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. If you'd like to catch the replay, we'll post it in the Facebook group in about 15 or 20 minutes. And of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. On behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, we love you guys. It's been great. We'll catch you in 2 weeks. Have a great day and a brilliant week. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.